and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. For those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath, and what I want to do today is get right into the title of the video, Manalukapaya and the Pearl of Truth. What I want you to understand about this is that sometimes there will be people that come into your life that may be assigned maybe a moment, but they had something to offer. I think every single person you encounter can be a teacher. And at a certain point in my life, when I needed to understand the lesson so profoundly, I had a teacher who was wise, who had many lifetimes and histories with Polynesian peoples and energies, and she manifested it in this present lifetime. Her name is not Monoligopaya, but it is the name that I gave her because I knew about how she was identified, and I knew what her roots were and where her heart was. And she offered me wisdom. For those of you that have seen the movie Moana, it was very much like that. She wasn't the grandmother spirit leading you onward to the North Star. She was just one of the wise elders that passed on something. It was interesting the way we met. We met 20 plus years ago before I'd ever seen her, before I ever knew I would meet her. I knew her adjacent to someone who passed away. And at the time, the person was alive, and I had said and received downloads to connect these two people. They were siblings, actual siblings that were separated for a myriad of reasons. And God put it on my heart to reconnect them. He said they will need each other later. And the person that I was always advising about that was very reluctant, didn't want it, was resistant, was resentful even. But I knew that Manalukapaya was supposed to be in her life, even though I didn't understand why or why I was so compelled. Years later, upon understanding my gift, how it works, and the fact that even though I don't call myself a medium, I do receive channeled messages from loved ones who crossed over, I think her mother had a lot to do with it. I think her mother understood the choices that her daughter would make and wanted her other daughter, her sister, to be in contact, even if the person that I was working with and assigned to as an Earth Angel, another video coming up about that shortly, Earth Angels, we are assigned to assholes. It's not always assholes, but it's usually assholes. But in any case, I reconnected these two. So now you get the background of the story, meaning I spoke life into the relationship and blew air into it in the way that we do empaths, the way that people take for granted, the way that we can sometimes take for granted. I blew air into a thing to inflate it because I knew it would be something she would need to float on later when the seas and the storms and the tempest raged. That's what we do if we're listening and we're clear and we have our ear to the heavens. So I'm reconnected them. But little did I know that Monologopaya would be so instrumental for me in understanding the true nature of a relationship that can go the distance. In my concern and worry regarding a relationship, she had come into my life when I finally met her years and years later. It's the power of manifestation and speaking a thing into existence. I believed a thing for a person who didn't even want a thing and manifested it. How much more powerful can we be, empaths, when we are solely working on manifesting for ourselves or manifesting for the greater good? An example, message, Mother Teresa. This is a person who is so stalwart and so determined that she manifested aid for her country. We are powerful empaths. We are powerful, and the means that by which we get things done are not always agreed upon by society. People do not understand what we do, but we still do our work. Anyway, back to Monologopaya. So I'm in this place where I need some advice about a relationship. Mm. And so I ask her because she's been in a long term relationship, one that worked and one that even her sister didn't believe would work. And she kind of was really cruel and unkind about it. And the truth of the matter is, it was a projection. Monologopaya, if you were to ever hear this, please know that your relationship is fine. but we do project, and even family members project. So here's the deal. I asked her for some advice because I saw what she had and I thought, I want a piece of that. That looks good. It looks like what you should strive for regarding the way that she and her partner were both madly in love with each other and still are to this day. Recently married too. The thing that comes up is that she said to me, I cannot imagine a day without my partner. I cannot imagine a day without her in my life, and I can't imagine my life without her input, energy. I can't imagine living life without her. This is one of my favorite people. This is my favorite person. The way that she spoke of her lovely wife, who is actually of Hawaiian descent, hence the manifestation from her past lives, the way she spoke of her actual wife moved me. It moved me because she was passionate. It moved me because it was authentic. It moved me because she meant every word she said. And it moved me because I knew that the relationship that I was in wasn't exactly that. That's one of those watershed moments. It was a relationship I had fully committed to, but it was greatly disappointing. And I knew that I wanted what she talked about. And even though I had fully committed and I never thought that I would leave, and I had done all of the things we do to stay in a place, and we say for better or worse, energetically, spiritually, emotionally, even though that had happened, I still vowed in that moment what Manalukapaya gave me was this pearl of wisdom that you should be living in a relationship that feels like this. And if you're not in a relationship that feels like this, no matter how committed you are, she asked me, then is it the right relationship? She had no idea how meta that question, that line of questioning would be. She had no idea the way that it would blow apart everything in my life because I had committed. And empaths, we don't break our commitments easily. But what that did was it stretched me to find the companionship that was right for me. And that meant that things blew apart. That's called a tower moment if you're reading the tarot. Hey, hi. Oh my goodness. I'm seeing people talking. I'll pull it up in a second. Let me just finish my train of thought. Hello to anybody that pops in. So love when you guys join me on the lives. It blew apart everything, but it was so powerful. Pearl becomes that way after much agitation, right? We get from a kernel, a grain of sand, something precious and something that is lauded and something that has luster. I like that word. Luster. It means it's shiny. It means it's vibrant. I like lust as well. And I want you to understand that if you're not passionate about the person that you are with, then are you with someone who you can stay with for the rest of your life? Because as the winds blow in life, you will not always feel that lust and passion. But is it a person like Manalukapaya described that you can spend the rest of your life with? I wish you could have seen the pictures of their wedding. And I loved it because it was representative of all their years of struggle. That one grain, it started that relationship that Monoligopaya told me about, that I watched blossom and then grow into this thing where marriage was had and smiles were shared and sunlight strewn in. I knew, I knew that it was special. And I knew that it had come from many years of other agitations regarding parenting styles, regarding merging of lives, regarding finances, regarding new friendships, regarding jealousies. Both of these people came from places where they had been broken or tried, but they found love and perseverance in each other's soul and eyes. Manalukapaya inspired me that day. She trusted her partner completely, even in her moments of jealousy that she shared with me about her partner, which I thought were mild and sexy. It wasn't anything over the top. And by sexy I mean, there's a fine balance of jealousy with a partner, right, guys? We all know that. I think a lot of us have had some of the highly toxic versions of that. But Monoligopaya was in check. Mm, it was completely in check. She just was covetous of her wife and territorial in a way that I think is so normal and a way that I wish we would be more honest about. But what I saw in that relationship is that all those agitations had created this pearl. And it was a pearl that I wanted to put on my necklace. I didn't even want a full string. I said, God, if you can bring me one thing, one pearl, one thing, one lavender, pearlescent, shiny, filled with sheen and luster thing, I will treat it so well. It will be precious to me. I will value it. But that means that you have to break a few shells. I knew the day that Manalukapaya said the things that she had to say that I was going to leave the relationship I was in. A lot of the times we can be in a relationship and know years ahead of time that we're going to exit it. I knew years ahead of time. And my angels allowed me to get ready, and they were merciful with me and kind. And they let me mourn it. Instead of all at once in a chunk, they let me mourn it time after time. Even in this moment, this is an offering of mourning, of recollection, but a celebration of my emancipation. It happened because of Monoligopaya. Empath, never shirk what your angels tell you to do. 20 years ago, I never knew that this woman would come into my life, even though I called her in. I called her in for her sister, not even for me. And she actually and completely set me free. It's so powerful. It's so profound. If I didn't write it down, I wouldn't know that this was how my life would go. I think about the Garth Brooks song. It's been on my heart today, The Dance. And I made a video where I talked about that months ago. And it's the only video where I ever really cry on camera, like full out. I'm crying for like 20 minutes. And in it, I was so sad. When you hear that song, looking back on the memory of the dance we shared beneath the stars above, for a moment, all the world was right. How was I going to know that we'd ever say goodbye? That used to sadden me. I used to be so tearful. I don't think that I had ever heard that song without shedding tears. I've always loved Garth Brooks, especially his run in the 90s. That was phenomenal. And I remember crying about that song before I even understood the emotions that go along with it. But when you live a life and you have experiences, you get that song. And I got it in the saddest state because I felt like I had lost so much. But now I get it. I'm hearing the chords play, but it doesn't feel sad because for me, it's about a life that is now washed away. I am no longer in that place. And that is wonderful, but that happened because Manalukapaya took the time to show me some grace. Manifesting partnership that's right for you, since that's something we all focus on a lot, it's something we all want to do. When they came over uh, from Ellis Island and everybody was getting their new names and figuring out a new land, one of the things that some of the people that were taking the data entry documented was that they were counseling people that were asking about why they hadn't heard from their partner that they made on the boat coming over. A few weeks voyage, right? And then they get here and they were worried about being ghosted. That's on Ellis Island, it's documented. If you think that you are not here in search of connection, then you don't understand the assignment. Our connections are what give us our elevations through our spiritual journey. Now, I focus a lot on love and relationships, but that connection with Monoligopaya changed my life. And because I listened to my angels, I called her in. I told her sister, love her even when she seems infuriating. Love her even when she seems overbearing. Love her because she is here. And out of all the people in that person's life, I knew that Manalukapaya was the one who was going to actually love her and take care of her. Not all the people that she'd invested so much time into. I always knew that it would be Manalukapaya. If you're listening, I knew it would be you. Protect her, love her, cherish her. Sometimes our family members don't value us. I knew that the sister did not value Manalukapaya, but I saw her intrinsic value. I saw her intrinsic value. You know what's so funny? God has a funny way. I was not at their wedding. I was not there on that day, but I was because of how things worked out. The sister never had too much to give. She was too worried about chasing clout. So when Manalukapaya wanted her to be there, she could not give one single care, and so she did not go. It wasn't an accident, it was planned. That's just something that y'all should know. And so, in her stead, there was something to be written, and that's something that I do. You guys understand. With the arts, I am smitten. So I indeed wrote the thing that Manalukapaya read that she thought was from her sister because I knew what she deserved, and I knew the words that needed to be heard. And I like to consider myself the whisperer of her sister, but the truth is, I think what whispered to her was the universe, was source. Whatever Monolocopaya did or didn't believe in, her mother, a higher source, and the source itself wanted her to know that this is the way that they saw their love. So even though the sister would not take the time or could have given a care to write the words were sent from above through me. And so, in my own strange way, I was there and I got to celebrate them as they breathed the rarest of air. Because to be in partnership with somebody who is actually good to you, loves you, values you, who is actually your person, your actual whatever, your flame, your soulmate, whatever you guys want to call it, is precious, rare air. And not many of us get there. But because of Monolocopaya, I decided to break free because I had a feeling that thing was out there for me. Thank you guys for joining me, sharing some energy. It's always so good to catch up. Let me see what my friends here have said. Hey, Jenny, nice to see you. The time here in Scandinavia is 16:55. Hello, Mason. Susie C, good morning. Good morning, sunshine. I love you guys. Thank you for joining me today. It was so cool to catch you live, Jenkin, especially. I know that that's a special treat from Scandinavia. How awesome. I love it. Jenkin is an day one subscriber and a commenter. She's always interacting. So say hi to her if you see her in the comments. She is a sweetheart. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Come back and join me next time, and we will continue to evolve together.